Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. We're doing another little test here. We're doing another little test here to see how this is all working. "1,200 people killed in the Israeli war. 1 in 10 people in Gaza have been killed or injured." Holy. Welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
I'm the governor of Arizona, and I'm focused on delivering results for Arizonans, and I'm going to work with anyone to do that, whether it's Democrats or Republicans in the legislature, whether it's the Trump administration in Washington, D.C. Arizonans elected me to deliver results for my state, and that's what I'm focused on doing. And I found common ground to work with the Trump administration on
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in.
Border security.
The Wednesday edition of the Random Thoughts Indoors Live News Reaction.
They ignored border security, and those are the kind of fights that I'm bringing to the state. I think that there is definitely a chilling effect on immigration because of the enforcement activities. But I will tell you, in terms of disrupting cartel activity, which is, I think, where we see the real threats to our communities in Arizona, we have found productive ways to work together to do that. We're interdicting weapons, we're stopping smuggling, we're stopping drugs from coming across the border. I've been very clear on how I feel about indiscriminate immigration enforcement. The president ran on a promise to go after the worst criminals, to go after people that were making our communities unsafe. And what's clear that's happening now is going after enforcement quotas, going after dreamers, after people who have been here for years, who are paying taxes. None of that is making us safer. And I would continue to advocate for the president to keep his promise and go after people that are making us unsafe.
Queremos primero rendir un homenaje a las víctimas del 7 de octubre que todavía quedan secuestrados y exigimos la pronta recuperación incondicional de todos los secuestrados, donde hay 4 argentinos.
I saw that on the TV too, but I know nothing apart from that. I was watching the Euros and up it came on the television and I'm watching with my girls and they're like, that's exciting. And I went, yeah.
And which is is that a camera that we can talk to? Because this woman,
Simon's got the pitch for what
she's ready
thinks.
to be the coach in the movie.
I need to be the
Come
coach.
on.
Simon thinks I should be the coach.
I mean,
I think I should be the
so
coach.
you're Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
I'm Jonathan. What happens to Jonathan Rhys-Meyers?
He can be like he can be
Assistant coach?
You know, but he could have been like, maybe can't he have had a scandal?
Maybe he's had a scandal.
I think it's a scandal. We need to figure out what
figure
happened.
out what happened to Jess and how that.
Maybe you meet.
Maybe we both need to be coaching. Or maybe she's coaching
No,
the
but yeah, an opposite team.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the
opposite
thing.
team.
You guys meet in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
You're talent scouts. You're not coaches.
We've just
It's like
figured this out.
Moneyball.
It's like Moneyball.
Yeah.
Great.
So you're definitely going to be in it.
I'm there, that one.
Before recognizing the state of Palestine, I think what's most important is to sanction Israel and to put a stop to what they're doing, first and foremost. So, because the government's not doing that.
History will remember, and we're not going to forget, and we're not going to forgive, and you can do all these things, but money and power is not forever, and it's going to pass. And when it passes, you will have to pay the cost of what you've done, and history will not forgive.
Tunggu suatu saat kalian akan merdeka dan Indonesia menjadi salah satu negara pendukung kemerdekaan kalian.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to have the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who I have made very popular. He's an extremely popular Prime Minister, and I'm very honored to do it because I liked him right from the beginning. I've liked him, and we've had a good relationship. We have some natural conflict, but we will probably work that out. But we've had a very strong relationship, and we're going to be talking about trade. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We'll certainly be talking about Gaza. We're in very serious negotiations to, I guess you could say, depending on the way you count, 3,000 years. You could say 500 years. You could say, but that it's been raging for a long time. And I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East. It's something even beyond the Gaza situation. We'll spend some time and we'll make some deals and we'll do some things that are good for both of our countries. And Mark, it's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. If I may, you kindly hosted me and some of my colleagues a few months ago, and I said at the time, you are a transformative president. And since then, the transformation in the economy, unprecedented commitments of NATO partners to defense spending, peace from India, Pakistan through to Azerbaijan, Armenia, disabling Iran as a force of terror, And now, and I'm running out of time, but this is in many respects the most important.
The
What you've
merger
created.
of Canada
No,
and the
what
United
you
States.
have created.
I'm only kidding.
That wasn't where I was going. On this solemn day of commemoration of the horrific attacks of October 7th, for the first time in decades, hundreds of years, thousands of years, this prospect of peace that you've made possible. Canada stands foursquare behind those efforts, and we'll do whatever we can to support
Very
them.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is AP News Minute. Plumes of smoke were seen rising into the sky over the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, on the second anniversary of the war between Israel and Hamas. French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu resigned after less than a month in office on Monday and less than 24 hours after naming a new government. The move deepened the country's political crisis and left President Emmanuel Macron with few options. Swedish activist Greta Thunberg arrived in Greece on Monday after being deported by Israel, along with dozens of other activists from a Gaza-bound flotilla. Thunberg was greeted with chants of freedom for Palestine. And the Nobel Prize in Physics went to a trio of researchers in the U.S. for their work on quantum mechanics. John Clark, Michel Dvorak, and John Martini studied seemingly obscure subatomic quantum tunneling that advances the power of everyday digital communications and computing.
Mr. President, do you see progress in Gaza deal? Mr. President, do you have a deadline for talks?
Mr. Prime Minister, will you accept President Trump's offer?
President Trump, sir, your message to Israel on the second anniversary of the Hamas attacks.
Will you talk about ending the trade war?
Sukkot, now being celebrated by Jews around the world, is a week-long Jewish holiday. It begins each year 5 days after Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. That's the holiest day on the Jewish calendar. Sukkot, by contrast, is a joyous holiday. It celebrates the traditional gathering of the harvest. It also commemorates the protection that God provided the Israelites when they left Egypt. Jews celebrate Sukkot by building foliage-covered temporary booths or huts called sukkah. They eat and entertain in the sukkah. Some of them even sleep there overnight. Another Sukkot tradition is the gathering of 4 special species of vegetation. There's a date frond, a myrtle branch, a willow bough, and a citron fruit. And these are waved in the sukkah in celebration. The 7 days of Sukkot are followed immediately by another holiday called Simchat Torah. That marks the start of the annual cycle of the reading of the Torah.
We're introducing a bipartisan resolution in the House today that condemns the atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7th and calls for Hamas to immediately surrender, cease attacking Israel, and release all hostages. It reaffirms Israel's right to self-defense from terrorist threats and any threats that seek her destruction. It also commits to ensuring the humanitarian aid reach innocent Gazans who are being used by Hamas as human shields. Last but not least, it strongly condemns and denounces all instances of anti-Semitism and commits to combating the hatred in all forms.
I am here not just for myself, but for every woman and man who didn't make it home, for every voice which was ignored, for 48 hostages still in Gaza, for their families, for our soldiers. This is not about Israel. This is about humanity, about human rights, about the world.
Hamas crimes on October 7th tragically have also led to the deaths, injury, and displacement of thousands of Palestinians as well. Hamas has their blood on their hands. We need to come together on a plan to surge aid to innocent civilians in Gaza who have suffered throughout this war. The current peace proposal provides a pathway to achieving these objectives. Hamas must accept it, and they must surrender, and they must give up their arms.
For us personally, there will be no happy ending, but there can be closure, and there can be healing. Our advocacy may quiet, but our promise will not fade. We will speak Omar's name for the rest of our lives. His light, his laughter, and his leadership will continue to guide us wherever we go and whatever we do.
We are celebrating life, and that is how the Jews live. We don't just cry and sit in the corner. We celebrate life. We always look for the positive. That is why some people who have come out of the Hamas dungeons are still pushing and are still advocating, and they're still celebrating and happy. Some of those people should be here today celebrating their life and celebrating the push for advocacy across the entire Jewish world for freedom, peace, and unity.
It's been 2 years since October 7th, and there's still hostages that have not come home. So we should support them, shouldn't we?
Bride is rescued after being struck mid-air at California amusement park.
This canoe is going to collect a very special harvest. It's right here in the heart of Mexico City, and it has hundreds of years of history. Welcome to the Chinampas. These artificial floating gardens are some of the last remnants of the Aztec Empire. They're rapidly disappearing, but this farmer is stepping up to keep them alive.
Uno de los recuerdos que tengo cuando era chica era a mi abuelo sembrando. Y en la Chinampa siempre era un lugar de flores, ¿no? Entonces para mí era un paraíso venir a la Chinampa.
Meet Cassandra. Chinampas have been in her family for generations. But as this tradition is usually passed from father to son, she went to university to pursue a career abroad. But when she came back years later, What she saw shocked her. It was time to come home.
Y yo cada que venía, sí veía la degradación del ecosistema, sí veía el abandono de las tierras, veía cómo los niveles de agua cada vez bajaban más. Y creo que ahí fue donde como que empecé a hacer conciencia de, pues tú eres parte de este espacio y creo que sí una parte de tu responsabilidad es salvaguardarlo.
Many chinampas are now abandoned. They're also being turned into soccer fields or tourist attractions. Cassandra has been working for 4 years to restore this abandoned chinampa, and now she maintains it, which isn't easy. Here's what goes on in a chinampa. The main element is mud, taken from the bottom of the canals and placed within a fence. The mud is layered with branches and grass, kind of like a big cake. At the end, trees are planted on top, and their roots stabilize the whole structure. Now, the base is ready for the nursery.
Los lodos que nosotros utilizamos traen la materia orgánica y los minerales y las cenizas de miles de años como de existencia de la cuenca.
Extraemos el lodo, lo colocamos en las camas y aquí directamente ensemillamos. Y esto, pues lo que forma parte del patrimonio agrícola mundial.
Chinampas aren't just valuable for their cultural heritage. They also play a key role in restoring soil. This is essential not only for growing food, but also for storing carbon. With soil this rich, you can have between 5 to 8 harvests per year. It all depends on what you want to grow. Chinampas can grow a huge variety of crops, around 70 to 80 kinds, including corn, leafy greens, and even flowers. A traditional chinampa looks like this. No two are ever planted exactly the same.
Xochimilco no solo es importante en términos de agricultura y chinampas y biodiversidad, sino también en términos de servicios ecosistémicos para la Ciudad de México.
As this expert is pointing out, the area also helps cool the city. And that's not all. It's home to many animals and plants, it helps reduce flooding, and absorbs carbon from the atmosphere. Mexico City did not always look like this. The city sits in a valley ringed by volcanoes, and lakes filled the basin in pre-Hispanic times. The Aztecs settled here and built Tenochtitlan, which became the capital of a vast empire. Chinampas popped up across the city to feed a dense population. When the Spanish arrived in 1519, they started draining the lakes and paving over wetlands. Only a few intact chinampas remained, mainly in the borough of Xochimilco.
Entonces, pues, ¿qué tenemos que hacer nosotros como productores para subsanarlo? Hace más de 8 años que colaboro con la UNAM en un proyecto de restauración ecológica aquí en la zona. Durante mucho tiempo estuve yo buscando como iniciativas o ejercicios que tuvieran como congruencia en territorio y que abonaron un poquito más allá como en la parte social, porque siento que pues es lo que está más dañado, ¿no?
Here at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, scientists have been working for 2 decades to help farmers protect their land.
Hay distintos factores pues, que han hecho que Xochimilco el día de hoy esté en riesgo, principalmente la urbanización, la mala calidad del agua y la introducción de especies exóticas. Lo que buscamos es pues, proteger y conservar al humedal de Xochimilco. Las chinampas son un agroecosistema artificial, ¿no? Que justamente se creó pues, para abastecer de alimentos en la época prehispánica pues, a toda la población, y eso se quedó, ¿no? Y perdura hasta el día de hoy. Entonces, la forma de conservar Xochimilco pues, es conservando también la chinampa.
The team is working to clean and restore the...
There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
The question is, did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him? You don't know anything about that. Okay.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. You won't do it today, but eventually you will. I yield, Mr. Chair.
Say it.
Is there anything that the Prime Minister has done that's making it more difficult or easier to reach a deal?
No, I think he's a great Prime Minister. I mean, he could represent me anytime. I will tell you, I'm not saying that because he's here. No, he is a very strong, very good leader. He's a nice man, but he could be nasty. He could be very nasty, maybe as nasty as anybody. I think Canada, let me put it this way, I can tell you this because I deal with lots of leaders all over the world. He is a world-class leader. He's a man that knows what he wants, and I'm not surprised to see that he won the election and won it substantially, and I would think he's more popular now. He's a good man. He does a great job, and he's a tough negotiator.
Welcome in, Everly Star. Welcome in.
What's holding things up? If he's a great man and you want to do a deal with Canada, why aren't you?
Because I want to be a great man, too.
So you guys, don't forget to double tap that screen, like the live stream today. We can continue bringing you guys live breaking news Monday through Friday.
Thank you. We have great love for each other. I love this. I love Canada and the people of Canada, and Mark feels the same way about here. The problem we have is that they want a car company and I want a car company, meaning the U.S. wants a car company, and they want steel and we want steel. And, so in other countries, they're very far away, and there's no problem. You can compete and you can do. We don't like to compete because we sort of hurt each other when we compete. And so we have a natural conflict. It's a natural business conflict. Nothing wrong with it.
Let's be clear about the relationship as it stands right now. We are the second largest trading partner of the United States. We do a lot of trade going across the border where we're cooperating, first thing. Secondly, we are the largest foreign investor in the United States. $500 billion in the last 5 years alone, probably $8 trillion in the next 5 years if we get the agreement that we expect to get. Thirdly, there are areas, as the president just said, where conflict, maybe not so much conflict, we compete. There are areas where we compete, and it's in those areas where we have to come to an agreement that works. But there are more areas where we are stronger together, and that's what we're focused on. And we're going to get the right deal for America, right deal, obviously, from my perspective, for Canada.
So USMCA, are the two of you both committed to seeing it through in the renegotiation of that deal that you made?
Well, we can renegotiate it, and that would be good, or we could just do different deals. We're allowed to do different deals if we want. We might make deals that are better for the individual countries. I don't care. I want to make whatever the best deal is for this country, and also very much with Canada in mind.
Is it the White House's position that furloughed workers should be paid for their back pay?
I would say it depends on who we're talking about. I can tell you this, the Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. President, why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Ask the Democrats that question. Go ahead.
Mr. President, just to follow up there, I mean, the law says that when the government is reopened, that workers will receive their back pay. So are you going to defy the law there, or what?
I follow the law, and what the law says is correct, and I follow the law. I always.
O terrorismo não pode ser elevado
a condição de luta legítima pela libertação de um povo. Terrorismo é crime contra a humanidade. Por isso nós trouxemos essa placa para cá, em inglês e português, contra o terrorismo em qualquer lugar do planeta. Nós estamos aqui não porque sejamos sionistas, embora não sejamos anti-sionistas. Nós estamos aqui porque os israelenses que morreram têm o direito à vida.
Californians have started voting on a special election that will conclude on November 4th that could have big implications for President Donald Trump and control of Congress. It's called Proposition 50, and it's a proposal to create as many as 5 new Democratic House districts in the state. If Democrats succeed and they win those elections, that could potentially swing control of Congress from Republican to Democrats. Governor Gavin Newsom and other supporters are saying they're trying to stop President Trump from rigging elections in Texas and other Republican states.
Everything I give you today, please. So California is just doing this in response to Texas. And we are worried that it is about voter suppression.
But the opponents are saying no. The Democrats are trying to take more power for themselves in a state that's already heavily Democratic.
That fair representation will be extremely hard.
USA!
USA!
No on 50.
The whole concept of a representative government, of our government, is that the people choose representatives based upon your community that represent their interests, their values. These districts will tear apart those.
Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back.
Minnesota has been the recipient of an incredible legacy that's here. I think our Norwegian heritage shapes who we are as a people. It shapes how we see the world, and I think the Crown Prince's work, whether it's around clean energy or whether it's around the protection of children and the bettering of their lives. This visit is important to us.
Today, there's very much a benefit from that history, because of course bonds between nations is bonds between persons, people, and that is very deeply rooted because of that shared history.
Welcome, I'm Jacob Fry, Mayor of Minneapolis. We are honored to have you. What's your name? Oh, yes. Stone Bridge.
We have Norwegian heritage. We participate in a lot of Norwegian events, and it was such a special opportunity to be able to have her meet the prince and also be around a bunch of other people who are excited for Norwegian culture.
Like we see here in the news every day from our prime minister and our premiers, that you never know. We just have to roll.